cloud thins over a ridge of the Andes. A blur holds its place beside a flower that hangs like a chalice. Wings hum, body stills, and a line of shining keratin reaches farther than seems plausible. The corolla is deep, guarded by petals and air. The visitor leans, the tip vanishes inside, and nectar rises on a tongue coiled like a spring. The bloom closes as the blur withdraws and pivots to the next. This is long-beaked bird adaptation at altitude, a match built on distance. In a world of short sips, the bird whose beak is longer than its body drinks where others cannot, and the mountain pays in pollen. Paramo grass gives way to cloud forest. Cold air sheds mist along bamboo and fuchsia arcs. Flowers here choose strategies with length, tubes deeper than a sparrow's skull, nectar postponed behind curves. Pollinators choose back, and a specialist stitches a route from one narrow bell to the next, often in near-freezing mornings. The metabolism is a furnace. The margin is thin. Rival visitors try and fail. A few succeed by theft, slitting bases to steal sugar without the trade. The true partner hovers, then perches to ease the cost. Only after the choreography resolves does the name fit the silhouette that keeps breaking the bloom's horizon. The sword-billed hummingbird, bearer of a rapier fit to flowers. Sword-billed hummingbird, the bird whose beak is longer than its body. Is not legend, its daily Andean hummingbird, feeding tuned to a narrow supply. A hummingbird flower match, written in altitude and air. Here is the puzzle, stated exactly. How did a beak longer than the body evolve without hindering flight or survival? A long lever adds drag and torque. Turning should cost more. Preening should be awkward. Catching insects on the wing should suffer. Yet the sword-billed hummingbird beak often exceeds the trunk from shoulder to hip. The bird compensates with posture, holding the bill upward like a mast at rest to reduce neck strain, and with behavior favoring perches near deep flowers, so hovering is brief. The tongue unfurls past the skull and returns nectar by capillary action and elastic recoil, limiting pump work each sip demands. As a nectar specialist bird, it wins access to plants almost nobody else can serve, gaining reliable calories while carrying pollen loads across distance. It pays too. A center of mass shifted rearward, a head that must thread pull. Between leaves like a lance, and grooming done with feet more than bill. Still, the ledger often tilts to black because the resource is stable while winds and seasons turn. The improbable becomes routine until a gust or missing perch turns length into liability. 3 lines of explanation lead. First, coevolution and competitive escape. As tubular flowers lengthened to hide nectar from generalists, any slight increase in bill length paid immediate dividends. Plants that matched the specialist's reach gained precise pollen placement. Birds that matched the plant's depth gained exclusive fuel. Over time, the pair ratcheted upward, each step raising the wall against rivals. The trade-off is specialization's trap. When key blooms fail in drought or shift upslope with climate, the expert faces a gap that generalists bridge. Second, mechanical compensation. The long beak doesn't act alone. Wings and musculoskeletal geometry carry some cost. Studies indicate slightly larger wings, altered muscle insertion angles, and neck musculature that stabilizes the head during aggressive maneuvers. Perching near blossoms reduces hovering time. Short launch and dock cycles replace long hovers that bleed energy at altitude. Andean hummingbird feeding, in this view, is not raw endurance, but choreography that spends energy where it buys the most. The limit appears when competitors guard perches, forcing long hovers. Margins shrink and retreats rise. Third, behavior as counterweight. Individuals learn routes, trap lines across flowering shrubs that refill on schedule, so search cost stays low. When insects supplement protein, the bird snaps from perches, using the bill's length as reach rather than a club. Courtship and defense shift to displays that emphasize control more than collisions. Scientists still debate how much sexual selection, preference for longer bills, has pushed the extreme, and nobody knows why some valleys host deeper corollas and longer bills than neighboring slopes. What is clear is that the sword-billed hummingbird beak, once an outlier, has been rewriting what we thought we knew about the limits of small body aerodynamics. Mechanics meet flowers at the millimeter scale. Corolla length and curvature set the required reach. Pollen placement paints the forehead and throat, proof of a closed loop. The hummingbird flower match becomes a map. Brugmansia trumpets, passiflora tubes, and region-specific bells that key to this bird's measurements. On cold dawns, the specialist warms on sunlit perches before the longest sips. By noon, it shifts to shaded blooms to keep heat in check. Rivals, sword-bearers among them, joust by feint and whistle, then split the ridge in time rather than blood. Nectar specialist bird strategy is patience plus precision. Fewer flowers, deeper wells, cleaner trades. The system is elegant but brittle at the edges. A snapped bill makes feeding impossible. A late frost blanks a hillside. A new nectar thief opens holes at the base and drains reward without moving pollen. Even so, the partnership holds because redundancy is built into geography. Multiple plant partners across altitude bands, and multiple valleys holding the template in parallel. When one source vanishes, another rises a slope away. When storms pin flights, perches delay hunger. The match endures until the map shifts faster than bodies can. Cloud folds back across the ridge. The blade returns to a flower, steadies, and sinks until only a throat and beating air remain. Can one adaptation lock two species together for life? The Andes answer with each clean exchange of sugar for pollen. Sword-billed. Hummingbird, the bird whose beak is longer than its body, remains a contract signed by depth and reach. Renewed each season, the blooms return. If corollas shorten or air thins with heat, the link may loosen, and the silhouette that seemed permanent could feel untraceable, even vanished. For now, the rapier still fits the sheath, and the mountain keeps writing nectar into narrow tubes that only one traveler can read.